The parasha of this coming Shabbat is Parashat Vayechi. It talks about the end of the life of Yaakov Avinu, and the vast majority of the parashat is describe the blessing that Yaakov conferred on his children. And then it talks about his death and his burial in Me'arat HaMachpelah, and then the return of the Shevatim to the exile in Egypt. When the Yaakov finished blessing his children, the Torah says that Vezot asher deber lahem avihem vaybarech otam ish asher kebirchato birach otam, and which means in English that this is how he talked to his children, and he blessed them, each Shevet according to the blessing that suits him. And it seems on the surface that there is redundancy. The Torah could have said just as easily, and this is how he blessed his children. And we can see that from Parashat Devarim, Parashat Vezot HaBeracha, Vezot HaBeracha asher berach Moshe ish Olim bnei Israel lifnei moto. This is how, this is a blessing that Moshe blessed the Jewish people before he passed on. And we do know that the Torah, there is midrash, that every blessing is modeled, or it uses the same terminology as its predecessor. For example, an Abraham to Yitzhak, Vayeten Abraham leYitzhak et kol asher lo, and then when Yitzhak blessed Yaakov, he told him, Vayeten lecha Elohim tal hashamayim shmei haaretz. Vayeten, same shoresh. And then when Yitzhak was going to bless Yaakov and send him to Paddan Aram to get married, he told him, Vayikra Yitzhak leYaakov vaybarech oto v'tzavehu v'yomer lo lo tkach benot Kenan. He called him in, and he blessed him. And here in the beginning of this parasha, not parashit, the parashat of the berachot, Vayikra Yaakov el banav v'yimer lahem ya'asefu v'yagida lachem asher yikra etchem b'harit ha'yamim, Vayikra and Vayikra. So here, why the Torah says here, and he talked to them, and he blessed them. I would like to advance an idea that I believe is very, very important, especially nowadays. That the Torah is teaching us that the parents, when they talk to their children, is by itself a blessing. In fact, it enhances all the blessing that Hashem conferred on every individual. Unfortunately, in the last 10 or 20 years, the communication between family members is becoming less and less. And that is having tremendous negative effect on the families and on the society in general. For example, the incidence of divorce is becoming extremely high. The use of drugs, the use of alcohol, crime, and so on and so forth. I think a lot of it is attributable to the fact that there is diminished communication among family members. And this is remarkable and disappointing because of the fact that nowadays things can be done much easier, and it should take much less time. For example, the cooking, preparing salad, baking challah and ka'ak, and the laundry. It used to take our parents, our moms, tons of time, and now it takes almost hardly any time. And so the person can assume that the spare time will be used to communicate with other family members, with brothers, with parents, with friends, with the society at large. In fact, many sociological study says that with the advance of Facebook and Twitter and this social media, people are becoming more lonely, and they are more lonely, more depressed. They have more anxiety, and it creates bad feeling. That, for example, somebody will put that he is in magnificent vacation in Hawaii or will have you on the French Riviera. It's like teasing his friends that, look where I am and look where you are. So those who are short-minded will feel jealous, will not have good feeling, and for absolutely no reason. These are details that they don't mean anything. And so when the technology is enhancing the connectivity, the communication is going down, and there is big difference between these two. I can sit on the computer and listen to news that have no consequence on my life, and waste my time, and in fact many people waste their lives while gaining absolutely nothing. So we have to be mindful on how we are spending our time, and understand the importance from this parasha and from other sources on the importance of family communicating with each other. And there are many sources that will guide us and teach us. I believe that every family member will be well advised to look this up if he wants, if there is any problem in the family dynamics. And there are a few suggestions that I would like to give to have some practical meaning to my talk. The first thing is that the family should devote time to communicate. And fortunately, the observant Jews do have that in Shabbat. There is no TV, no communication device, nothing. So it will be ideal time for family to talk to each other. And the other thing is that people have to take opportunities, because teenagers don't open up all the time. They are busy with their own things. So the parents have to find, whenever the teenager, or in fact even grown children or younger children, that they are ready to talk, and to grab that opportunity and communicate with them. And the third thing is, when that communication takes place, the parents should give the children their undivided attention. They have to be considered like CEO of a company, because the truth of the matter is that, after all, parents do work to have healthy and happy family. If we are destroying those opportunities, I mean, suppose somebody made $1 million or $10 million. What's the use if there is going to be divorce, if one of the children is on drugs, if another child is gambling the money away? And if there is no spiritual value, money really doesn't mean anything at all. And the parents should be tuned to when the children wants to talk to them, and if the parents don't listen, the children should take opportunity to tell them that I have a problem, I want to talk to you. And each one of us do know the story of a little girl, that her father is rather successful and he doesn't have time to his family. So one day when she caught him, she asked him, "Dad, how much do you make per hour?" He told her $100. At that time it was big dollar amount. So she told him, okay. She ran to her room and she brought $100. She told him, this is what you make. Can you give me an hour, just you and I, Daddy? I don't see you. I don't talk to you. So here you can tell that the children do want to talk to the parents. When we have this opportunity, we should leave the newspaper alone. We should leave the football game alone. We should leave the computer alone, because really the truth is nothing is more important than communicating with our children. And the other thing is that there are several kinds of communication. There are two types of communication. There is instrumental communication, meaning that I'm going to pick you up at 5 o'clock, or go get me something from the grocery store. And there is effective communication. The effective communication means, that I feel bad, I feel depressed, I'm happy, I am excited. Those have to be shared among family members. And good family, happy family, are those who do have both type of communication open and exercised. The other thing is that we have to remember that verbal communication is really only 10% or very small amount of the communication in general. We do know that body language has a lot of communicating effect. You can tell if somebody is interested, if somebody is not interested from their body language. In my practice, for example, before I do procedure on some patients, you can tell when those who are shaking their leg, you can tell that they are nervous. So few soothing word, and if it was not enough, give them even some anti-anxiety medication, can help. The face expression communicate a whole lot about the inside of the person, and it is. I never cease to be amazed with the genius of the Hebrew language, that panim, face, is the same word as pnim, which is the inside. The face does reflect what is going on inside the body. And also in talking about communication, davar means not only talk. In the Hebrew language, it means an object, and it means a subject, both of them. So all three, this will reflect that communication is really not only with dvarim, with only talks, but in a lot more than that. And this is what is being communicating to us. And I do remember that a few months ago we had a guest speaker in our synagogue, in Lawrence Avenue Synagogue, Rabbi Shneur Turkov from Tveria, Israel, who told story that did impress me. It hasn't been a long time since I heard it, but I think I will remember it for a long time. He talked about Rabbi Shlomo Karlbach. This is the rabbi who plays guitar, and he sings. One time he was in one of the prisons in the United States, and he went to one of the inmates, and he found a black fellow who was sentenced to life, and he gave him a hug, and the prisoner felt the warmth of that hug. He told him, "Give me another one," and he gave him another hug, and then he finished. He told him, "Give me a third hug," and he gave him few hugs, and he started crying. He said that if I did receive those hugs when I was growing up, I will not be here. I won't be sentenced to life in this prison. In fact, the families, unfortunately, who don't communicate well, who don't talk to each other, they are sentencing their children to probably just as bad of a destiny as this fellow prisoner, if not worse. So here we should take that to heart. Communication among family members is extremely important. This is not superfluous words. There is very, very valuable lesson that we can learn from those words. I wish that all the blessing that Yaakov and Moshe conferred upon us to come true to all of us, and Yosef alechem elef pe'amim, and and all the best. Shabbat shalom.